Kingsman. I used to wonder what murder could be. My little Kingsman. Trust me, that joke would have been great if we were in the same situation we should have been in a year ago. Anyway, what's going on, guys? We have been MIA for a long time now.
We disappeared. We wish we got an explanation for you.
We do not. So, what are we seeing this week, Mason?
We are seeing Kingsman: The Golden Circle, a sequel to one of the best movies of 2015.
That's right, Kingsman. Matthew Vaughn's returning. Taron Egerton's returning. Really wish they wouldn't have revealed this in the trailers, but Colin Firth is returning. Along with newcomers, Jeff Bridges. Fucking love Jeff Bridges.
Such a great actor.
Channing Tatum, Halle Berry, Julianne Moore. Because if Mike Tyson meets Steve Jobs in the first movie wasn't enough for you, then how about demented Martha Stewart?
Because that's how you up the ante with Kingsman.
And the thing is that this movie is, from kind of the get-go, when they kind of announced what this movie was going to be, we really felt that this was a natural next step. Build the world of Kingsman and introduce something like the Statesman, the American version of the Kingsman, which is really something interesting, because thinking about it, you don't really realize, guys, we've had gentleman spies, but we haven't had the Southern gentleman spy.
Not really, no.
Which is weird, because that's kind of which is weird because the Southern gentleman is basically is an American staple. Why we have not had why we don't have a lot of Southern spies is beyond me. I'm sure there's many a joke I could crack, but I can't think of any.
A lot of stereotypes. It's probably mostly due to the other Southern stereotypes.
But either way, Kingsman is expanding into a bigger universe. Hopefully it'll be even bigger in the third one. My money is on China with Jackie Chan as the leader. And they're like, I don't know, named after dragons or something?
I don't know.
Either way, should be fun. Matthew Vaughn's returning to direct. He is one of the biggest action directors that's working right now, to the point that they're even thinking about asking him to do Superman.
Although one thing is, this is his first sequel ever. He's never directed a sequel in his entire life.
He was up for X-Men and Days of Future Past, but then he had to drop out to do the original Kingsman.
As well as the fact that he was in negotiations for Star Wars Episode 7.
Yeah, so basically that's when he handed it over to Bryan Singer, and that's why we got the X-Men, and that's why we got arguably one of the better X-Men movies, followed by kind of another weaker one. Yeah. But overall, Matthew Vaughn's track record is better than most directors. I'd rather have a Matthew Vaughn record than a Josh Trank record.
Yes.
Which is essentially one good movie, one terrible movie, and then nothing else afterwards.
Well, we're just going to ignore the fact that Matthew Vaughn produced Faint Four Stick.
Shh. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, what else can be said about this? The action's going to kick ass. The action already looks like it's going to kick ass. I don't know if we're going to get anything that's going to dwarf the church scene, which we fucking loved from the original.
If you watch the video of us reviewing the first one, you know we went apeshit over that scene.
And hopefully this movie gives us what we want when it comes to that. I don't expect it to top the original Kingsman, because a lot of the reviews have been essentially either it's not as good as the original or it's just as good as the original. I'm not sure if I want it to top it. I just want this franchise to stay strong, and if we get a third one, for that to be a satisfying conclusion to these characters' story arcs.
Obviously, our expectations have been lowered a little bit after seeing some critical receptions, but we're still going in with high hopes.
And overall, I just want to see Mr. Darcy shooting bad guys. Yeah, we've seen the Bridget Jones movie since we first saw Kingsman.
Yeah, we've seen the entire Bridget Jones trilogy, bitches!
It's kind of weird to bring that up in a Kingsman video,
But yeah, we've seen the entire Bridget Jones trilogy. Don't judge us.
Don't judge us. Started out alright, got a little worse, got a little better. That's all we can say about Bridget Jones.
We're diverting now suddenly.
Yeah. Who do we think we are, the president?
Okay.
Another tangent. Anyway, I guess we got nothing else to say, so we will see you guys after the jump.
Yep.
Country roads Let's take me home. Yeah, that song is actually featured quite heavily in this.
Not complaining. Not complaining. Cause
Because it's a damn good song. John Denver was a goddamn American icon.
Yeah.
But, yeah. This movie was good.
Good. Really good. It was a good sequel.
But was it better than the original?
Yeah, I really know.
It's on par.
We're having some pretty on par sequels with it this year.
Yeah. Honestly, Guardians of the Galaxy got better after the second watching for me. And meanwhile, Pirates of the Caribbean, every time I think about it, I get a little more angry, thinking just how rushed it feels.
Yeah.
But Kingsman, I still really like this. It's
yeah, and maybe it'll not age well, and when we rewatch it again, it's probably going to be complete and total garbage. But it was a pretty decent movie.
We still had fun. This was a fun ride, and I don't even think if it's going to be total garbage. I think it's a good movie. It's on par with the original. Par is still pretty damn good. Yeah. Especially when you judge it by the original, which apparently people didn't see coming. I don't understand that. But trailer 1, I was sold on the original.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get into this. Starting with the directing. Matthew Vaughn is still one of the best action directors working today.
We got some pretty freaking dynamic camera movements.
And we got scenes set to and we got almost Edgar Wright styled action sequences set to eclectic music. We got the first opening sequence is set to "Let's Go Crazy" by Prince. R.I.P. Prince.
A perfect tribute to one of the greatest pop stars ever to live.
Yeah, but the final action sequence I loved the most. I kind of loved the most for the soundtrack choice because it was a country fried version of "Word Up" by Cameo.
That is fucking brilliant.
I didn't even know that existed until now. It's almost like last night we found out that there was an 80s remix of Closer by the Chainsmokers and we fell in love with that. But I love the soundtrack to this. I love the fact that it incorporates the score of the original, but when the statesmen are fighting, it incorporates new bluegrass elements to it. We get banjos, we get fiddles, we get electric guitars.
We get country fried version.
It's country and it's the same classic spy score from the original, but they added country and western influences.
Yeah. All right, let's talk actors. Taron Egerton. He's obviously been the wonderkin of the time right now. He's done fantastic work on every movie he's done consistently so far.
We haven't seen Sing, but
we haven't seen Sing or Eddie the Eagle.
But we've heard he's good in Eddie the Eagle, and I guess
he is going to be playing somebody who was in this cast very soon.
Yeah, and then we got and I really liked the way Colin Firth, when he first shows up, he kind of plays a different character, and it's kind of interesting.
I got a very Mr. Darcy vibe out of him, actually.
Which is interesting, but then he's back to normal by around the halfway point of the movie, which is fine, because we didn't come to see Colin Firth acting differently. We came to see more of what we loved from the original, and that's fun. All the returning cast members, they did incredibly well. And there's a special cameo that's not even in the trailers that we're not going to spoil because I was personally pleasantly surprised.
I was pleasantly surprised too. I had no clue this guy was going to be in it. But we have another British actor stepping into the shoes of someone who had previously been in the last movie.
Mark Strong as Merlin gives quite the performance. Well, let's face it, everyone who came back did incredibly well. Because why wouldn't they? This movie first movie was incredible. They obviously got to come back for the second one. Let's talk new cast members. Channing Tatum as Tequila. He's charismatic. Well, let's face it, Channing Tatum is charismatic as hell. He's funny and he's well-versed in the action genre. If he's given the right project. So obviously he was going to knock this out of the park. Jeff Bridges, of course, is always fun as the.
He's basically always playing some version of the dude at this point in his career.
Yeah. In this particular case, he's the wise old grandpa cowboy, which is great because Jeff Bridges has basically been spending the latter part of his career playing cowboys.
He won him an Oscar, so it works for him.
Yeah, Halle Berry plays is somewhat complex as Ginger Ale, and I liked her well enough.
She was a pretty good addition.
Basically, the entirety of the Statesman cast is good enough that you almost wish that they had their own movie to kind of go off of.
I kind of wish we had more of the Statesman, because the Statesmen were such a good part of this movie, but I felt we didn't have enough of them.
Yeah,
the one we got to see the most of was Whiskey.
And Whiskey's a complex enough character. He's fun. He's fun, but honestly, I kind of like Tequila better, if only because I know who Channing Tatum is. I don't even know the name of the actor who plays Whiskey.
Yeah, but we didn't get a lot. But I feel we didn't get a lot, especially of Jeff Bridges and Channing Tatum,
which is weird because they were kind of hyped up a lot in the trailers.
Yeah, we don't get Jeff Bridges as Champagne a lot. He doesn't show up. He actually shows up very little in the movie. And Channing Tatum shows up a little bit, but he's very much just being Channing Tatum with a southern accent for a brief time, for whatever brief amount of time he's on screen. And Channing Tatum's awesome. He's hilarious. He is such a good actor. But I wish we had more of him. I almost want to see a spin-off of The Statesman.
And Julianne Moore is just loving every second of her role as Poppy, the Martha Stewart on crack. And that's how she describes it. And until I actually saw the movie, I didn't realize she meant that literally.
She was very much it's like Martha Stewart's stage persona. Is on hard drugs.
Which is a lot like how we described Samuel L. Jackson in the last movie, where basically if Mike Tyson gave it all up and decided to become a supervillain.
So instead, now we got Martha Stewart becoming a super... If the on-camera presence of Martha Stewart decided to give it all up and become a supervillain, and she's halfway there because she's doing this show with Snoop Dogg.
And then Elton John has quite the extended cameo, and he steals just about every scene he's in.
Elton John is the funniest fucking thing about this movie.
He shows... The second Elton John's on screen, you almost wish... You know he's going to steal every scene he's in, so you almost wish they weren't going to use him a lot. And they use him but then they use him a lot. But when they use him, he's hilarious. He's going off on people. They're using his music in all these things, like they use Saturday Night's All Right and Crocodile Rock
and Rocket Man
and all kinds of other stuff for action sequences, and it's fun and it's awesome and funny. Honey.
Then we got once again a interesting political message where you can't tell if this is pro what it's talking about or con what it's talking about.
Which is kind of like how the first movie you couldn't tell if it was pro-climate change or anti-climate change because...
And then we got in this movie a figure who is very much...
If you thought that what they did with Obama in the first movie was an interesting satire, then you're gonna know exactly how Matthew Vaughn and Jane Goodman feel about the new guy.
Yeah. He's not saying that he's totally...
That he's definitely satire. That he's definitely a satire of the way things went, but...
He's totally a satire of the way things went.
But if you know that in advance and you're looking at it, then you kind of realize, then you kind of see where it's coming from.
Hey, at least he's not... But hey, but the problem is when you look at it, watch the movie, you're like, well, at least he's not building a fucking wall.
Anyway, what can be said about Kings from the Golden Circle? It's not better than the original, but it's better than most other middle-of-the-road sequels.
It had great characters. We got some great new world building. The only thing we wish is that there was more of the people, of the new people, and less of the old, and a little bit less of the old people.
Maybe not less of the old people, but and
maybe,
this is not a short movie. It's a little over 2 hours because
it's about 2.5. It's close to about 2.5 hours.
But it could have done with. But there's a lot of subplots thrown in, so maybe if we had had a bit more of the Statesman, it could have been incredible. But for right now, it's good. It's a really good movie, and I don't think that it's gonna be that this is gonna be one of those movies where we say that and then we keep thinking, oh, they could have done this, they could have done that, they could have done this. Why did they do this?
Or we're just sitting there slicing and dissecting every single second, like Pirates of the Caribbean, like with Pirates of the Caribbean, or with Transformers 4.
Yeah. So that's it. So that's it, guys. That is Kingsman. It's good. Go see it because it's awesome. Huh. But anyway, hey guys, what did you think of Kingsman: The Golden Circle? If you saw it, no spoilers in the comments. Anyway, we will see you guys next time when we
Ninja Go.
Ninja Yo.